Hi, my name is Jessica from Family Piano, and in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, we wanted to share with you some notable Hispanic musicians. We made a blog post about this a couple years ago and have since updated it, so I'll put that in the description. I think part of the reason why Americans don't bother dipping into international genres is because they don't know where to start. It can be a little overwhelming to listen to music with lyrics in languages that you don't understand, but once you get past that language barrier, you can get to the rhythms, to the real soul of the music, which is what is the most important part. In light of that, I'd like to recommend just a few Latin American figures who have had an undeniable impact on music. Not all of them are really Latin music, but nonetheless, they should serve as excellent introductions if you like the piano and you want to explore different musical palettes. In no particular order, here are a couple of our favorite pianists and composers from Latin America that we really think that you should know about. We have also compiled the music into a playlist, and we will also link that somewhere in this video as well. Manuel Ponce. Let's start with one of the most well-known composers of the past 100 years. Before the early 1900s, music in Mexico was mostly seen as either popular or traditional. The two didn't really intersect at all until Ponce began to blend the two. As a classically trained pianist, guitarist, and composer from Mexico, Ponce is widely respected for the influence he had on contemporary music in Mexico. His classical compositions all make references to Mexican folk music, and he is most responsible for popularizing the use of classical guitar. We have very few recordings of Ponce himself playing, and none that we could find on the internet. We have linked a couple renditions of more popular pieces. Antônio Carlos Jobim. Forgive my Portuguese, I only know Spanish. Known as the father of bossa nova, Jobim is another big-time pianist, guitarist, and composer. It wouldn't take long for you to find out that he was Brazilian, since a lot of the music incorporates lyrics showing appreciation for the country, not to mention that they're all sung in Portuguese. Gilberto from 1964 is arguably his magnum opus. It is a record done in collaboration with American saxophonist Stan Getz and Brazilian guitarist João Gilberto. He composed and played the piano on many of the tracks, and it was this album that really launched bossa nova into the world stage. It was also one of the best-selling jazz albums at the time and received multiple Grammys, even becoming the first non-American album to win Album of the Year in 1965. Jobim continues to be a very popular influence among jazz players. You can definitely hear his sound and style coming from many jazz guitarists today. Antonio Carlos Gomes was around back when the Americas were known as the New World. As such, he is probably one of the very first famous pianists/composers who we refer to as Latino. Gomes is best known as an opera composer. He often incorporated Brazilian themes into his work, calling for independence and the abolishment of slavery. And despite this, his most popular opera, Il Guarani, saw major success in Europe. This was a very impressive feat, since this was during the golden age of opera, and it was the first opera from the New World accepted by Europeans. Fellow opera composer Giuseppe Verdi called his work true musical genius, and even Franz Liszt said that his playing showed dense technical maturity full of harmonic and orchestral maturity. Needless to say, Antonio Carlos Gomes is an underrated composer who is really up there with the other European musical greats. Rubén González. Many Cuban styles of music today feature piano, and many of those piano playing styles were influenced by Rubén González. González is mostly recognized as a pioneer of the son cubano genre. In fact, the earliest son cubano ensembles didn't even feature a piano until González popularized it. After that, the genre really began to come into its own. González also contributed to jazz music, being inspired by American artists such as Bud Powell and Thelonious Monk. These influences played a huge part in his sound, and he had a major role in shaping what is known as Afro-Cuban jazz music today. As far as his love for the piano, he was famously quoted as saying, "If I can't take a piano with me to heaven, then I don't want to go." Marta Argerich. Marta Argerich is your favorite pianist's favorite pianist. She is somewhat of an enigma, not having done many interviews and only performing in chamber settings, but she is also responsible for many classic piano recordings. While many pianists started playing around the age of 8, Argerich gave her debut at the age of 8 with Mozart's Piano Concerto No. 20 in D minor. Since then, she has studied under many renowned pianists, such as Friedrich Gulda and Arturo Michelangeli, won a bunch of international competitions, and given aid in a ton of piano recordings. Audiences, critics, and fellow pianists all agree Argerich is easily one of the greatest pianos of the past century. Argerich is a native of Argentina, and fun fact, she also speaks 6 languages, which is very impressive. We hope you enjoyed this video. If we missed any of your favorite Latino composers or pianists, please let us know in the comments. This is by no means a comprehensive list of every Latino pianist there is out there. How many of these pianists were new to you? And again, we have a playlist of recordings of a bunch of their compositions. I will put that in the description. Thank you for watching.